Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. Today I am with a cult classic. This is Honda's 2014 through 2016 Grom 125. In Europe, this bike was known as the MSX 125. The 2014 through 2016 are considered the first generation Grom or OG Grom. These bikes have proved to be incredibly popular. They are reliable. They are easy to ride, they're approachable, and they're a whole lot of fun. I'd like to say a special thank you to Bernie for letting me review this bike. It's always a privilege to get to drive the different styles of motorcycle. Looking at the specs of the bike, the Grom features a 125cc engine. It is fuel injected, it's air cooled, it has 2 valves per cylinder. It features a 9.3 to 1 compression ratio in the first gen Groms, and it's mated to a slick shifting 4-speed transmission, and it has chain final drive. Looking at the suspension on the Grom, it has upside down forks in the front, and these are 31mm forks. They are non-adjustable. It features a non-adjustable single shock out back and a box section steel tube swing arm. In the braking department, the Grom features disc brakes, both front and back. It's got a single disc up front with dual piston calipers acting on that, and it has a disc out back with a single piston caliper acting on that. The Grom has a 1.45 gallon fuel tank. It has a curb weight of 225 pounds. It has a 30-inch seat height on it. It features 12-inch wheels, front and back. The wheelbase is 47.4 inches. Instrumentation on the Grom is fairly nice. It has a digital tach. It also has a fuel gauge and a clock, as well as the speedometer. Performance-wise, the Grom makes 9 horsepower at the rear wheel at 6,750 RPM, and it makes 8 foot-pounds of torque at 5,300 RPM. Top speed on a stock Grom is right around the 60 mile-an-hour range. The light weight of the Grom and the low power output make it very attractive to riders who might be intimidated by larger machines. And in almost every urban area, there are Grom owners groups that you can join if you want to participate in the Grom community. And the Grom community is really unique, and it makes Grom ownership really attractive. There's a wide range of aftermarket support for the Grom. You can get aftermarket parts ranging from a simple exhaust to big bore kits for the motor. This particular Grom has a rear stunt subframe that you can stand on if you wanted to do stunts on it. It also has aftermarket levers, it has different bars on it, and your pocketbook is really the only limiting factor in how much you want to modify your Grom. All right, enough talk. What is the Grom like out on the road? I'm going to gear up, I'll bring the camera along, let's find out together. Let's ride.
I am currently riding Honda's 2015 Grom 125. This is actually my first ride on a Grom, and this bike has really achieved cult status with owners, and it's just a neat little machine. I'm cruising right along now at about 55 miles an hour, and it just does this just fine. If you would have told me 15 years ago that Honda would introduce a 125 single-cylinder street bike and that it would go on to be very, very popular, I would have laughed at you. At the time, I thought the 250 Ninja was really small and basically about as small as you could safely ride on American roads. But Honda has successfully released a whole series of 125cc street machines, and they have just achieved wild popularity. The seating position on this bike is fairly roomy. It's surprisingly roomy for a 125cc motorcycle, and even at speeds, I'm showing 57, 58 miles an hour on the speedometer right now. This bike is perfectly fine. It's not darty, but with a wet weight of 225 pounds, this thing just handles effortlessly. Very easy transition side to side, almost effortless. The front brakes are strong. and I'm sure it would be very easy to do stoppies on this machine. That was an indicated 63 miles an hour, which is impressive performance for this little motor in this bike. This bike has several aftermarket additions to it. In addition to a stunt bar, it has the FMF pipe and an intake, a high-performance air filter. One thing that makes the Grom so appealing is its broad spread of torque, and although it only makes 8 foot-pounds of torque maximum, it makes over 6 foot-pounds all the way from 2,500 RPM to 6,500 RPM, and that means that it doesn't really matter where it is in the rev range. When you get on it, it has about the same amount of pull, and it pulls nicely from lower RPM. This is definitely not a highway bike, and the maximum speed is right around 65 miles an hour or so. This one's modded, it would probably do that. The last bike I reviewed was Honda's CBR 1100XX Blackbird. And so this is quite the contrast going from that bike to this bike. These bikes are great when you're in the inner city. They're great on really tight back roads. But even on these more open and flowing back roads, there's definitely times where I'm certainly wishing for a little bit more power. These are very non-intimidating for beginning riders. They're very easy to ride. The Grom has a very slick shifting 4-speed transmission. Later versions got a 5-speed, but the first 2 generations were the 4-speed models. The suspension is non-adjustable. The ride is firm, but it's not punishing. And the nice thing is, even though I'm not the target rider that's going to be riding this bike at 225 pounds, this bike is still holding my weight pretty effectively. It's not bottomed out on the suspension. I imagine this bike would be a lot of fun on a really tight track, like a go-kart track, somewhere where the top speed really isn't an issue, and you could kind of use the bike's lower speed acceleration. Once you get on the straights and the speed gets above about 45 miles an hour or so, the acceleration kind of tapers off towards its top speed. But it is impressive for a bike that's only 125 cc's. The fuel injection is very nice. There's no real hiccups in the power band or dips in the power band.
All right, that was fun. This bike is very easy to ride. It's very non-threatening for beginner riders to get out and learn how to ride, learn how to use a clutch, learn how to use a manual transmission on a bike. And it's very lightweight, it's easy to pick up if you would drop it, and it's very approachable. And I really like it for those reasons. It's also very fun if you're on tighter streets or in town or zipping around a coastal city. I think that would be a fun setting for this bike. On the plus side, I love the fuel injection. I love how easy this bike is to just start up and go. And I love the fuel economy of this bike. It gets right around 130 to 140 miles per gallon, which is incredible. One of the downsides of the Grom is its limited usability. This is not a bike that you can actually take out on the highway, and even on some secondary back roads, it can be a little bit dangerous with the other traffic that's out there. It just doesn't have enough power in reserve to avoid a potentially hazardous situation or to overtake somebody if you need to. The success of the Grom really can't be found in its sales numbers. It can't be found on a spec sheet. It's not an iconically beautiful bike, nor is the performance of the Grom anything to write home about. The real success of the Grom is in its ability to inspire a whole new generation to get out and ride, to enjoy the sport of motorcycling. And for lots and lots of people, this is going to be the entry point into motorcycling, and it's going to be something that will impact the rest of their lives. I got my first taste of motorcycling on a small Honda, and I think a lot of people will have the same experience with Honda's Grom. And for me, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. Very cool. Well, I'd love to know what you guys think. If any of you out there are Grom owners, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.